Engine plant revved up.
If you want to sell in Canada, you need to build in Canada.
Big bucks for Essex engine plant and the possibility of a third shift. A bunch of rubbish.
Rather than criticize and threaten Canada, your closest friends, maybe one day you're going to need our help like you did last year, and we deployed the people.
Premier Doug Ford responds to Trump over threats of wildfire smoke tariffs. And a major conservation milestone.
I think it was sort of a set of magic ingredients and right place, right time that just made it happen.
Raceway acquisition expands Windsor's future national urban park.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. A $1 billion boost for Ontario's auto sector and a major win for Windsor workers. Ford is investing hundreds of millions into its Essex engine plant as part of a new agreement aimed at strengthening its Canadian operations. CTV's Sanjay Maru joins us from outside the plant. Sanjay, what can you tell us about the $700 million investment?
Well, union leaders say this agreement provides something local workers have been looking for in what's been a very turbulent time for the auto industry, and that's simply certainty. Yes, there are wage increases and bonuses here, but they say the bigger story is the long-term commitment to operations here in Windsor. For Ford workers in Windsor, the biggest part of their new contract may not be the money, but the possibility of a third shift at the Essex engine plant.
We can bargain everything but the kitchen sink, but if you don't have job security, people aren't going to be able to enjoy everything else.
The third shift is being forecasted for the future and is not a guarantee, but the new agreement backs the proposal with a $700 million investment in Ford's Windsor operations, which will expand and modernize the Essex engine plant, helping maximize 5-liter engine production and support development of larger engines. The deal also comes with 3 years of labor stability, 3% annual wage increases, cost of living protection, and up to $12,000 in first-year bonuses for eligible workers.
It sends a message that if you want to sell in Canada, you need to build in Canada, you need to invest in Canada.
Speaking on AM 800 this morning, Unifor National President Lana Payne says the agreement was reached against a backdrop of deep uncertainty with U.S. tariff threats, changing electric vehicle plans, and cutbacks at other Canadian auto plants. But following this latest agreement, union leaders say the combination of new investment, job security, and future product commitments puts Windsor's Ford operations in a strong position for years to come.
When it comes to that third shift, do you have any idea how many jobs that would create?
Several hundred, I would think, by the time we're done, and that's, I think, incredibly important there in and of itself, because it also means that we will be building more engines, and that's what Ford is forecasting for now.
Unifor says it made a deliberate decision to reach a deal before the existing contract expired in September. The union says Ford has 2 major product launches planned for that month, and it did not want a labor dispute to put those launches or future Canadian investment at risk.
They've shown us that they're investing in Canada, so we thought if there's ever a way of doing this, this was it.
And this agreement also addresses the future of Oakville Assembly. A new program is designed to bring laid-off workers back to full employment with a target date of July 1st of next year. Stefanie.
Promising. Okay, Sanjay Maru with our top story. So here's our question of the day. Do you think Windsor's auto sector is headed in the right direction? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. On Friday, we asked if all the waiting changed how you feel about the Ojibway National Urban Park. Out of almost 800 votes, 91% say no. Well, drivers will have to wait until next Monday to cross the new Gordie Howe International Bridge. We now know the official celebration is coming a little sooner.
Unless something crazy happens in Trump land where, there's wildfire smoke and he sees he could leverage this again, who knows? But I think, by all accounts, this is going to move forward. There'll be a ribbon cutting on Friday, opening on Monday, and folks will be able to cross pedestrian-wise in terms of bikes and walking on August the 5th.
On Friday, I will be with Dominic and with Mark Wiseman. We're opening a bridge Okay, so on Monday or Friday we're opening a bridge which shows the collaboration between the two countries and the trade. The U.S. Canadian friendship, partnership, and success. Thank you. Thank you all.
The opening of the $6.4 billion bridge connecting Windsor and Michigan has been delayed multiple times, the latest due to concessions demanded from Donald Trump, despite Canada having financed the entire project up front. The exact terms of the deal struck between the two countries to open the bridge have yet to be revealed, and that is the focus of a growing political fight. The federal Conservatives are pushing the Carney government to release the agreement, saying Canadians deserve to know the details. Prime Minister Mark Carney said any toll revenue sharing with the U.S. would happen only after Canada repays its construction debt, with net revenues then split between both countries for the first 15 years. Conservative critics say the government is creating confusion by keeping the deal private, and they're threatening to use parliamentary tools to force more transparency. In other news, a Windsor home is decimated after a fire early Saturday morning. Crews responding to the 1200 block of Stanley Street around 4 a.m. No one was home at the time of the fire, but one adult and 5 children are now looking for somewhere else to sleep. Windsor Fire estimates the damage at $500,000, including heat damage to neighboring homes. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. To the courts now, a decision has been reached in the Windsor Assembly Plant explosion trial. James Harris has been acquitted of all charges tied to the 2021 incident. Justice Bruce Thomas is sharing his decision this afternoon. He points, in large part, due to a lack of explosive substances and accelerants at the scene, police did find items including extension cords connected to a power outlet and wires and with stripped ends and a kitchen timer. However, investigators found a lack of damage to components of the device. At the time, Harris was an active part of protests opposing vaccine mandates at the assembly plant. Co-workers testified Harris warned to avoid parts of the plant 2 days before the explosion. In his decision, Thomas infers those comments were an attempt to increase his standing in the eyes of his co-workers. Defense lawyer Ben Strickland says Harris is hoping to now move on from his life.
It's been a long process to get here. It's unfortunate that it went this far, but the system had to play out the way it had to play out. So we're just kind of happy it's done, but it was a long time coming.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins us now for a first look at the weather from the top of the Bell Building tonight. Gary.
Good evening, Stephanie. Good evening, folks. The air quality has improved since last week. It started on Saturday. The interesting thing about the wind profile is that it is differential. It changes with height. Sometimes, as of right now, we've been seeing a steady stream of southerly winds, and that has helped to keep things relatively clear or clearer than it was in terms of the air quality last week. But the mid to upper levels are still coming primarily out of the west-northwest. So behind me and in higher elevations near the tops of those skyscrapers, the air quality is not so great. That's wildfire smoke, but it's not nearly as bad as it was last week, as mentioned. I'll break down the forecast for rain. We need it. It will help rinse and wash us off coming tomorrow morning, and sunshine and cooler temperatures thereafter. It's coming up momentarily. For now, I'll send it back inside to you at the desk. Stephanie?
1 year after going to a 24/7 operation, Hotel Dugrace Healthcare's Mental Health and Addictions Urgent Crisis Center has helped more than 4,000 people in need. It's showing a growing demand for care outside of the ER. Chris Campbell joins me now in the newsroom. Now, Chris, what are you hearing about the impact this center is truly having?
Well, Stephanie, one of the biggest takeaways after the first year is that people are using the service overnight. In fact, 7 people walked through the doors just last night alone. Hospital officials say more than 1,100 visits happened between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. over the last year, reinforcing why they believed a 24/7 mental health crisis center was needed in the first place. The Mental Health and Addictions Urgent Crisis Center opened around-the-clock service 1 year ago, giving people in need of such help an alternative to a traditional emergency department. Since then, more than 4,200 people have come through its doors.
The purpose of today is to get the message out that in our downtown, we have a 24/7 urgent care center. It's essentially an emergency room center for anyone experiencing a mental health or an addictions crisis. It's a good alternative.
The numbers tell the story. Between July of last year and the end of May, the center saw more than 4,200 visits, including more than 1,100 overnight. It also accepted hundreds of referrals from local emergency departments, along with voluntary drop-offs from EMS and Windsor Police. For paramedics, it means patients can receive specialized care while ambulances return to service more quickly.
When crews get in here, they're able to transfer care to the healthcare workers that are here, the social workers, the nursing staff, and they're able to get on the road much quicker.
Hospital leaders say that's also helping relieve pressure inside Windsor Regional Hospital's emergency department.
The 24-hour service, since that launch, has definitely provided some improvements with the emergency department and the care for access that they need.
Police say the biggest change is giving people another place to go before a crisis requires emergency intervention.
This service exists, and they don't need the police. They don't need an ambulance to bring them here. They can walk in themselves.
While officials say demand continues to grow, they believe increasing public awareness is the next step.
We know we can do more. It's here, it's fully funded, excellent services, but the best part of it is it's the outcomes. It's the service people need when they need it. We want to emphasize the fact that the service is here and celebrate the fact that our assessment was correct. There was a need for this, and we made good decisions on allocating resources towards it.
Hospital leaders say the center remains fully funded and they'll continue tracking outcomes over the next several years, while encouraging anyone experiencing a mental health or addictions crisis to seek help by walking into the center at any time of the day or night. Stephanie?
Okay, Chris, thank you for this. A long-awaited national urban park in Windsor is getting larger. The federal government has announced a major land purchase that's helping move the project closer to the finish line. CTV's Bob Belichico was at the announcement. Bob, what can you tell us?
Hi, Stefanie. Yeah, the government says that the designation of Ojibway as an urban national park is in the final stages, and today's announcement of the acquisition of 19 hectares of land here on the outskirts of Windsor is an important step in that process. Now, the park has already been cleaned out. Wait till you hear how much garbage and debris was removed.
We've achieved this amazing first step of protecting this land permanently so it can become a part of this park.
The Windsor area Ojibway footprint is getting a major boost. A partnership with the Ontario Conservation Accelerator helped secure 19 hectares of new land, an investment of more than $10 million, bringing the total protected area to about 384 hectares. IRCA also played a role, contributing 100 acres from the Chappis Prairies to help expand this natural space.
We're discussing with all partners what the future of the park could look like in terms of access, restoration, so the tall grass prairie that once thrived there can be returned, and ensuring that this piece becomes an amazing part of this park.
The Friends of Ojibway also helped make it happen, contributing $100,000 to a fund that brought together commitments from several community partners.
You need to show that the community is invested. So we were able to pull enough to show that the community is willing to put some skin in the game, if you will, to contribute.
The cleanup effort is already underway with the Conservation Accelerator, partners, and volunteers removing 1,800 kilograms of garbage from this site already. Now the focus shifts to the final steps and when Ojibway will officially become Canada's second national urban park.
I'm saying this with great certainty, and I hope you heard it today, is that we are truly working all as partners, and we are in those final stages.
The majority of the partners are on board, and where there's any lag, I think it really, with the right attention of the right person, could get over the hump very, very quickly.
Former Windsor West MP Brian Massey had hoped the Urban National Park would have been designated in time for the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge.
I think we'd all like to see it, and we'll all breathe a sigh of relief. We'll sleep a little bit better, but until then, I think we remain hopeful and we remain optimistic, and we know really good work is happening behind the scenes to bring it to fruition.
Hopefully there's a pathway to even acquire more to include in the National Urban Park.
Now, the Friends of Ojibway are hoping to capitalize on the momentum of today's announcement and purchase the remaining land around the property. But as one official told me, that will likely be an ongoing thing in the upcoming years. So for now, the Friends are more focused on restoring the area and integrating the property into the park. Stefanie?
Okay, Bob Belichico, thank you for this. In other news, the Tecumseh manufacturer is expanding with help from the Ontario government. True Phantom Solutions is investing more than $1.4 million to grow its operations, creating half a dozen new jobs. The province is contributing nearly $189,000 through its Southwestern Ontario Development Fund. The company makes lifelike medical training models used by hospitals, researchers, and educators around the world. The expansion will add new manufacturing equipment, boost production, and support the development of new products, including female full-body medical simulators and a canine training model. MPP Andrew Dowie says the investment will help strengthen advanced manufacturing and innovation in southwestern Ontario.
It means people are going to get to work in exciting careers. For our area, where unemployment is persistently high.
So the plan is to use the funds to develop technology to build more, better phantoms, which are objects like that for medical simulation, for medical training. And like I said, fundings just accelerate the entire process.
The town of Essex is looking at ways to improve Colchester Harbor after hearing concerns from boaters and community members. A review of the facility found several issues have already been addressed, including dock supervision, maintenance, garbage collection, and parking. The town made some staffing changes, added more patrols, and new signage. Now council is considering larger projects for the 2027 budget, including a possible $306,000 upgrade to the lighting, the removal of fragmites, and a new pump-out station. The town is also looking at a new $700 user fee for boaters who want to upgrade to 50-amp electrical service. Council meets tonight at 6 o'clock. A piece of Kingsville history is coming down. The former Kingsville District High School is now being demolished, ending the building's 75-year run. The school first opened in 1951, but the property was sold after the town of Kingsville's attempt to purchase it was unsuccessful. Mayor Dennis Rogers says he had hoped the site would become a community hub, including Saving Migration Hall for recreation, arts, and cultural space. It's not clear what the new owner plans for the property, which is zoned for commercial and residential development. The mayor tells AM 800 no proposal has been submitted just yet.
Increasing the commercial footprint would be great. It also could be all residential. But those are kind of the two options there. So again, no proposal in yet, but again, to me, good steps is someone that came in, they purchased the property, they're investing in demoing it right away. So I think that tells you something that they want to invest in our community.
We want to hear from you. Do you have thoughts or comments on a story, an idea for something you think we should cover? Text us at 10400. You can also send photos and video. Still ahead on Windsor's news leader, Premier Doug Ford fires back after President Donald Trump suggests tariffs over Canada's wildfires. The grocery bill keeps climbing and families are feeling the squeeze. The latest numbers show what's getting more expensive. And a sick man says he was profiled and asked to leave a Windsor gym tomorrow. How it turned into a conversation about faith, inclusion, and understanding. That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News. To breaking news now, Trump is retaliating against the U.S. booze ban with 50% tariffs on Canadian goods. U.S. President Donald Trump signing a new executive order today imposing a 50% tariff on some Canadian goods for what his administration is characterizing as discriminatory trade policies. Specifically, the U.S. is taking issue with provincial bans on U.S. alcohol supply management and certain tariffs and quotas on cars imported to Canada from the U.S. Now, fired up Ontario premiers responding to threats of punitive measures from the U.S. president over smoke from Canadian wildfires drifting south. CTV's Michael Couture has Doug Ford's blunt message to Donald Trump.
Send up some water bombers. Send up some wildland firefighters.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford says instead of the threat of tariffs, President Trump should send help to fight the wildfires. It came after the U.S. leader said he spoke to Prime Minister Mark Carney about the smoke that was blanketing some American cities.
We got to stop the fires up there. If we can help them, we'll help them. But maybe they should pay us some damages or something, or we should do some tariffs.
That suggestion drew this response from Ford.
Rather than criticize and threaten Canada, your closest friends, maybe one day you're going to need our help like you did last year, and we deployed the people. I get frustrated just listening to that bunch of rubbish.
Prime Minister Carney did talk to Trump at Sunday's soccer match. In a statement, his office said the Prime Minister provided an update on the wildfire management and the comprehensive approach taken to ensure the safety of all Canadians and Americans.
You have to take his threat seriously, even though it is nonsense.
Brian Clow is the former Deputy Chief of Staff to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He believes Canadian officials have been reaching out to their U.S. counterparts.
They are reacting calmly, factually, providing information to the Americans to try to bring the temperature down.
A sign that perhaps it's working. Pete Hoekstra made a toast to the Canada-U.S. relationship over some American whiskey in Edmonton. While he didn't weigh in on CUSMA negotiations, he was optimistic about bilateral trade.
We're going to end up with a deal between two large trading partners.
And it seems the latest threats haven't derailed other joint projects. Hoekstra said he'll be at Friday's opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge with Canadian officials. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
So is there something Canada should be doing to prevent the flames and stop the flow of smoke south? CTV's Heather Wright gives us a reality check on policy and prevention.
Nearly 1,000 wildfires are burning across Canada right now, most of them caused by lightning, and many considered out of control.
These fires are so intense that you almost can't fight them. You almost have to move people away from the fire zone, and even water bombers can't do it. It's almost you need weather. I mean, weather caused many of them, and weather has to put them out.
And while fires are part of the natural ecosystem in northern Canada, climate change means summers are warmer, the vegetation is drier, making fires more extreme.
We have had bad fire seasons in the past, but we have bad fire seasons more often now because of climate change. That's quite obvious.
This year is already rivaling 2023, the most destructive fire season in Canadian history. Thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes, and air quality has been impacted in major cities across North America. But forestry professor David Martel refutes claims that these fires are caused by forest mismanagement.
There's no truth whatsoever to those. We know how to manage forests and we know how to manage fire. But however, we cannot extinguish every fire that occurs, and sometimes these agencies get overwhelmed.
Experts say the biggest contributing factor to intensifying forest fires is climate change, but there are things communities can do to protect themselves. That could include constructing fire breaks, clearing debris along the perimeter of town, and building homes with fire-safe material. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Lower gas prices in June helped slow inflation to 2.8%. But given the Middle East conflict, how long will it last? CTV Geneviève Beauchemin now on what it all means.
The shopping list of price increases for grocery staples in June includes fresh and frozen chicken up 5.7% compared to May, and bread rolls and buns cost 6% more. Overall, the price tag to feed a family continues to rise, June marking the 17th consecutive month that the inflation in grocery prices outpaced the all-item consumer price index.
Over the last 5 years, prices have increased 20%. Grocery prices have increased 30%.
In June, the price of fresh fruits like grapes helped lessen the gap. And the large increases of the cost of tomatoes of the last year and a half have slowed. Still, one that cost $1.20 then now costs $1.80. And there could be a wild card for upcoming fruit and vegetable prices. And that's whether wildfire smoke impacts crops.
For tomatoes, they will be forming and growing, and that could make for smaller tomatoes or fewer tomatoes. So we don't know. It's very difficult to measure.
Now, that higher price tag has widespread implications. It may be midsummer, but back-to-school shopping is already on.
It was about $130 and I'm not done.
Aid groups say families struggling to fill grocery baskets have little left to fill backpacks.
When you have to choose between paying your bills, between paying your rent, or with feeding your family, you know, school supplies down the list.
And while the cost of grocery baskets were up 3.9% in June, the overall inflation slowed to 2.8%, in large part driven by gas prices. In June, there were diplomatic talks and an interim ceasefire that was announced in the conflict in Iran. Renewed tensions have already seen prices at the pump rise this month. And the cost of travel-related services also went up, particularly in Toronto and Vancouver, World Cup host cities, where hotel room costs rose. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
MarineLand shipped 6 belugas to aquariums in the U.S. today. The closed park is up for sale and says it is running out of money to care for its 30 belugas and 4 dolphins. MarineLand has struck a deal with a consortium of American and Spanish aquariums to take the whales. In Toronto, the TSX lost 304 points. In New York, the Dow fell 307, the Nasdaq dropped 12. The Canadian dollar was down 1/5 of a cent today. Gold dropped almost $3 an ounce and oil gained 70 cents a barrel. Could the way you feed your baby help them sleep better? Coming up, the Japanese study that surprised even the researchers.
Let's take a look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Mark Hewer for this great early morning sunrise image. Just ahead, will fair weather and cooler than seasonal temperatures be in store through the midweek? We'll find out next on CTV News Windsor.
Much more comfortable outside today. Gary joins me again with an extended look at the weather. And Gary, we are keeping an eye out for some rain.
Yes, rain for tomorrow. We need it. If you look at, say, your windows or maybe the windshield of your car, you can see the very fine particulate matter. It's still there unless it's been washed away. Perhaps you've been through the car wash, but that's evidence of the wildfire smoke. However, from my backyard, you saw the video, we saw some blue sky. The winds picked up over the weekend as forecast, and the air quality has improved. It's not spectacular, but at least it's a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. Today's daytime high average is about 28. We've seen 26. We are now down to 25 at the airport under somewhat hazy, cloudy conditions. 24 in Chatham-Kent. It feels like between 28 in Chatham-Kent and about 30 in Windsor, Essex and the surrounds. So it's a comfortably nice evening so far. The winds have been breezy. We'll see gusts in the 25 to 35 range again. Thank goodness for that, because that helps to clear out what was a very stagnant, incredibly poor air quality situation from last week. A front has pushed through the Great Lakes. Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, and parts of Lake Huron have seen showers. It's somewhat broken up and dissipated, at least its strength for now. But tomorrow, a different story. Is a second wave, another boundary. In fact, 2 will sweep across southern Ontario, hence the rain coming tomorrow morning, say around 4 a.m. So it'll be wet on our way to work, for example, dropping the kids off at daycare. And I think there's a possibility of a round of showers also in the afternoon for Tuesday. For now, we'll actually see a bit of a clearing. Mostly cloudy through 8 o'clock, partly cloudy, if not mostly clear through 10 and midnight. A warm 23 under clear skies. The winds sustaining around 30. Again, we welcome the breeze. It will feel like about 29 at that juncture. Take a look at our Enercare style 7-day forecast, calling for those showers early, possible thunderstorm activity in the morning, pre-dawn, and again in the afternoon. A high of 28. Sunny Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 22 on Wednesday. Whoa. That's cool. Then up to 25, then 27. Thursday, Friday, again, sunshine. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 29, 31, 29. Cloudy and some glancing showers passing through are possible.
The Canadian government is implementing temporary new border measures to combat the spread of Ebola. Ottawa is barring foreign nationals who have been to the Democratic Republic of Congo in the past 21 days from entering the country. Canada's Public Health Agency says the new temporary measure will take effect at midnight. Commercial and private air carriers are also not allowed to board those foreign nationals on flights into the country. Congo's health minister says at least 930 people have died as a result of the latest outbreak. A new study from Japan suggests breastfeeding during a baby's first 6 months may help infants sleep better. Researchers analyzed data from more than 82,000 mothers and found babies who were exclusively breastfed were less likely to get too little sleep by their first birthday than babies fed only on formula. Scientists say breast milk naturally contains hormones and nutrients that may help babies develop healthier sleep patterns. The lead researcher says the findings were surprising and adds that even combining breastfeeding with formula appear to offer similar benefits. They say more research is needed as children grow older. And beginning today, some Canadians will see an increase of roughly 2% to their federal child benefit payment. For eligible parents with kids under 6 years old, that amounts to an increase of $160 a year. For those with kids between the ages of 6 and 17 years old, it comes out to an increase of $135 annually. Roughly 3.6 million Canadians will see their payments increase. The Canada Child Benefit is adjusted to inflation. Ever wonder what happens when hypnosis meets comedy? Coming up, a show where the performers might not know what they're doing. Wildfires are disrupting vacation plans for many Canadians, with flames coming dangerously close to cottages and cabins. And in Manitoba, flooding is also adding to the issue. CTV's Alex Carpa reports.
These are some of our favorite Manitoba campgrounds.
For Alicia Mitchell and her family, camping is an annual tradition, but this summer looked a little different.
Unfortunately, this summer we weren't able to secure any camping within Manitoba.
Mitchell says she's been checking Manitoba's campground reservation website regularly, hoping to snag a cancellation, but so far she hasn't had any luck.
We have done some camping outside of the province and just trying again and hoping for the best.
While demand for campsites remains high across Manitoba, many campgrounds are facing challenges related to flooding and ongoing impacts from raging wildfires. This was the scene earlier this week at Pasha Lake Cabins in northwestern Ontario. Owner Victoria Lafreniere has lived her whole life in the region and says she's never seen anything like this before.
There was embers flying everywhere. It was crazy.
She says the situation has improved over the last couple of days, but says the uncertainty of what could happen is impacting her business.
We actually seen a very significant loss of revenue. I've had a lot of people cancel the rest of the season as well, just because of the worry of the air quality and not knowing what could happen.
And it's not fire, but water that's causing chaos for some campgrounds in western Manitoba, still trying to recover from intensive flooding. Karen Goreluk lost 14 of the 22 sites at her campground after it was hit by 2 major floods in 3 weeks.
The land fell into the river. It's very sandy, and it just started to eat away the first flood, and the second flood took a whole bunch more. So that area, it's half gone.
A lot to navigate for campers like Mitchell, who remains hopeful a spot will open up somewhere this summer.
I have faith that we'll be able to secure a cancellation in one of the campgrounds and get one of those notifications. And if not, then we'll have to wait till next year.
Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
There's no denying them this trophy. Magnificent achievement.
After 5 weeks, 48 teams and over 100 games, the 2026 World Cup has come to an end. As you probably know by now, Spain beat Argentina 1-0 on Sunday to take home the trophy. As the final match played out, we checked in with some fans about whether the tournament met expectations.
It's amazing. I mean, it's something very good for all three countries. I think for Mexico, it brings the focus into the good things that we have about our country. And for Canada and the U.S., it's amazing for actual soccer fans to be able to display their culture in soccer and that there are real fans in both countries.
This World Cup, I just started following it more, watching, trying to watch the games and just knowing the scores and the players.
I was skeptical about it, but I've really enjoyed it so far. I've enjoyed the games. I've enjoyed the atmosphere. It's been very fun. I've proven completely wrong about it. Okay, I've seen Toronto. I've seen Vancouver. I've seen the festivals held there. It's amazing.
This World Cup specifically I followed because Canada was a host country and there was a lot of stuff going around on campus with students at the university. So it was really fun doing it. And just the final, I feel like there's been a great hype around it, and it was just great being a part of the experience, you know.
I wasn't that big of a soccer fan before, but during the World Cup, I've been watching hella soccer, man. It's been a great event. I've been enjoying it with my friends, my buddies. It's been a great tournament, man.
A Windsor man's journey on foot from Ottawa back to our region is halfway done. TJ Travis began the 750-kilometer walk on Canada Day, in part to help raise funds for youth organizations in Windsor, Essex. We caught up with him ahead of the home stretch.
We're on day 17 of a 32-day, 750-kilometer walk from Ottawa back home to Windsor.
We're over the halfway point. So as of the end of yesterday, I've walked 426 kilometers. A fellow in a pickup truck pulls up beside me on the highway. It's so hot. And he says, "Oh, buddy, you need a ride." I said, "Oh, no." I show him my sign. I said, I'm walking. I was like, I have to get my steps in. He gives me 2 cans of iced tea and then kind of goes on his way. I've had a few people who thought I was hitchhiking. They've tried to pick me up. So yeah, a lot of random small town gestures of kindness.
There's no call for rain today, but the sky is really smoky. It's really smoky.
I was also thinking about all of the communities, all the people, all the families who are losing everything right now due to the wildfires, and how this also kind of becomes an opportunity for me to walk in solidarity with them.
We're carrying a gentle message of peace and unity, walking in the legacy of the ancestors.
I'm doing so by supporting youth outreach initiatives. This year, which is the first year of the walk, we're supporting the Windsor Youth Center and the Sandwich Teen Action Group. I feel like I'm almost home now. When I walked past that sign that said "Welcome to Toronto," I feel like I'm in that. I feel like I'm in that familiar stretch now.
Come up on stage right now. You'll search around the stage area for your belly button because your belly button's missing. It's gone. Here we go. What are you looking for?
My belly button.
Comedy legend Colin Mockery and hypnotist Assad McKee are bringing Hype-Prov to Windsor. The show combines hypnosis with completely improvised comedy as audience members take the stage and create a one-of-a-kind performance. It's part science experiment, part comedy chaos, and no 2 shows are ever the same. Hype-Prov comes to the Coliseum January 15th. Looks like a great show. Melanie Kentner joining us now. Happening Now is coming up. Mel, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, we're going to talk about how many fake distress calls there have been on the Great Lakes, and the number might surprise you. Coming up.
Jim Jeffries is bringing his acclaimed Son of a Carpenter tour to the Coliseum stage September 11th. Enter at ctvwindsor.ca for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see Jim Jeffries at Caesars Windsor, plus a $200 gift card.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. Sunday, July 26, you're invited to run with responders along Windsor Riverfront Trail. Police, fire, and EMS vehicles will line the route honoring our first responders. See you next time on Our Community.
Now, Melanie has some numbers for us on how many false marine distress calls have been made in just the past few months.
Yes, can you believe 187 false distress calls have been reported across the Great Lakes since October? That includes 3 confirmed hoaxes. Officials are reminding boaters to use marine radios properly and only for emergencies. The Department of National Defense says radios are an important safety tool, but false mayday calls can put lives at risk. Every fake distress signal can trigger a response from search and rescue crews, taking resources away from people who may actually need help. Officials say making a false call is illegal and could lead to fines or even jail time. Boaters are being urged to know how to use their equipment before heading out on the water. Now, we've got those details online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we also have a story online, Melanie, about police cracking down on speeding, this on Highway 3.
Yes, Essex County OPP have charged a 43-year-old man with stunt driving. Police say he was going 142 kilometers per hour on Highway 3 in Kingsville. Officers stopped him in an 80 zone around 9:30 p.m. on Friday. He received a 30-day driver's license suspension and a 14-day vehicle impound. And in our social spotlight, how much would you pay for a movie prop? Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from The Empire Strikes Back has fetched $3.75 million at auction. It comes complete with a hand that Darth Vader lopped off moments before revealing he is Luke's father. It sets a new record for a screen-used Star Wars prop, Stefanie.
Some of our viewers might not agree with me, but I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I know those who are would be willing to pay that amount of money, right?
That's a big chunk of change for that prop.
It is, but they have some dedicated fans.
For sure.
Okay, so how can some of our viewers submit a video for this trending segment?
Yep, well, they can email us at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text to 10400.
And that's what's happening now. Thank you, Melanie. Now, if you thought you'd seen everything, think again when we return the oddly round raccoon that's baffling Seattle.
Isn't my backyard beautiful in the morning?
It is, it is. Look at those trees. Any nests in there at all?
There is a blue jay that lives somewhere around. I see him on top of my house. Dino, my dog's always looking up. He wants to play with him. But yeah, it just sits there. I wish the Blue Jays, Toronto Blue Jays, were a lot better than they are right now. Okay, blue sky. So that's good. Indicative of the winds that have picked up out of the south. We want those winds to continue to blow all of this wildfire smoke away from where we are. It'll be rainy tomorrow morning, especially around the morning rush hour. And then it's sunny potentially in the afternoon before it rains again in the evening. Sunny Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Cloudiness for the weekend and Monday a week from now. So watch out for some thunderstorm activity even in the morning tomorrow. We need the rains, and we want it to be breezy to help with the air quality.
Okay, Carrie, thank you.
Okay.
Finally tonight, a uniquely shaped raccoon in Seattle is turning heads and capturing hearts. As correspondent Jeremy Roth shows us, it is going viral for its confusing and captivating looks.
What am I looking at?
That is a great question, and the confusion could be forgiven as videos of an oddly shaped raccoon wandering around Seattle have taken the town and the internet by storm.
Almost a little supernatural.
The confounding critter, known to locals for its unique and spherical shape, has been caught on camera all around town and was nicknamed Jimothy by at least one witness. But why Jimothy?
Me and my husband saw him and he looks like a Jimothy to us.
Fair enough. He looks like something, that's for sure. But what gives Jimothy this odd, what exactly gives him, what gives? One local veterinarian believes Jimothy has a congenital spine shortening disease.
It does look quite unusual, but it is a condition that happens in other mammals as well.
That's not to minimize Jimothy's exceptionality, though. Folks online sure aren't, where the rotund and rascally raccoon has achieved legendary status, complete with its own fantastical fan art. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Not surprised this has gone viral. Not surprised there's beautiful artwork there.
Yeah.
Of Jimothy. Cutie.
I'm not sure about the name exactly, but for a moment there, I thought he was like a spider monkey from a distance. I'm curious as to how friendly he is.
We know your thoughts on raccoons.
Yeah. Don't get me started on
rabies.
Raccoons, right? Rabies. Although in Southern Ontario, that's actually a smaller percentage of the rabies issues out there. Red fox, of course, a major consideration, and coyote. I like raccoon babies. They're kind of cute.
They are cute, yeah. But I don't know. Jimothy still puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, until they're in your garden. Garbage.
Okay, on behalf of our dedicated team at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to CTV News Windsor.ca. I really should know this.
Yes, you should by now, yes.
Same thing.
Please watch Gary and Travis tonight at 11 o'clock on your only late local newscast.
I should do lines on the chalkboard or something.